Today is January 9th, 2013. I am going to record a dream that refers to the Bible, Amos, the book of Amos. So get your book of Amos ready and open your first chapter, the book of Amos. And we will get to the verses when I get there. Okay, in this dream that I had, it's possibly referring to what's going to happen 2013. And I'm going to start by telling you, start believing. Start believing. I want to take a deep breath. And you all have to too. Alrighty. In this dream, I had some party wraps. It's just like you take a flour tortilla and you put ham and cheese and you roll it and you cut it in little sections like a sushi. It's how sushi looks in little sections. And I had these party wraps and I was very hungry and I wanted to eat it. I was determined to eat all my food. And all of a sudden something interrupted me and I had to leave. And I had to go somewhere. So when I left, I was in Africa the next minute. And I went in front of this hotel. This hotel has metal fence. And every bar, every couple of bars, several bars of the fence had one bar that was longer than the rest of the iron bars of the fence. And the longest one always appeared to look like it has a plate built in it. So it was like a long iron fence circled the hotel, and I was in the front of the hotel, and it was like bar, 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 regular bar, 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 and one long bar, and there was a plate, metal plate built in it. And on the plates, I noticed that my wraps, my party wraps, was on it, and I was very upset. And I said, I was going to eat this. It's my food. How did it get here? I was very upset. And then I started to look up because I heard some birds. I look up. I saw some birds just humming around, like chuckling so much. Not little chuckles, but a lot of chuckles. All over. And they actually were pooping on top of the plates too. And I said, oh no, my food. I was very upset. My food. And I was like looking at it. So as I walked further to observe the rest of the fence, I noticed that in the middle of the fence, halfway in the middle, it was a statue of a king and a queen sitting face to face each other, like side to side. But the cheeks, their profile was kind of like slightly facing each other. And they had a plate on their hands, metal plate built in the statue of their hands also. And the birds were shitting all over these plates. My food is there. And I was mad. I was determined to get the wrap down and eat it too. So I reached for one of the rakes that I saw by the guest room, one of the guest rooms. And when I reached for the rakes, I couldn't reach the plate. So I just stopped and I threw it there anguishly. And then I saw the owner of the hotel. He's my dad's friend. His name is Alfred Blair. And he says, what are you doing here? And I said, hey, look what happened. I have food that I was eating. So I started explaining everything to him. I said, I had food and I was coming to eat my food. Later, I left it so I can just get something done. And I came here, I saw it all over here on the plates, and there's birds all over pooping pooping on my food on the plates. And I said, and I tried to get it, and that's what I was trying to get with the rake, and I couldn't get it down. I say, if you notice halfway down, there's also a statue of a king and a queen, and they have a plate on their hand, and on the plate they had the wraps, the patty wraps. When I say patty wraps, I mean P-A-R-T-Y, not beef patty. Party wraps. So he was like, oh, really? I said, yeah, if you don't believe me, we can ride around your hotel and you'll see the statues also. This is very strange. I mean, I don't understand it. So he got it in my vehicle. So ironically, my vehicle was in Africa, and he was sitting in the front seat, and he asked me to sit on the driver's seat. I was just looking at it like, it's my own car. I couldn't even drive it. He's sitting on my front driver's seat, and he's driving my car. But it doesn't matter. I just want to show him what's going on. So I got in the passenger seat, and as we start circling, I woke up. The dream ended. That same night, I came home and I prayed to the Lord, because every time I have dreams, I always like to call people that are my Christian friends or Christian families. When I say Christian families, my sisters in Christ, I will call them and I ask them to tell me what they think of the dream. And sometimes I can't reach some of them because they're either going through a lot and they're not picking up their phone. And I didn't want to depend on no man, because God says if you have a dream, you need to go refer to the Word, and the Word will give you answer. So I came home and I started praying about it, and I said, Lord, please show me what this dream means. It's very, very peculiar, very different, you know. And 12 midnight, before I fell asleep, I opened my Bible without even trying to the book of Amos. Okay? And I started reading book of Amos. I read from first chapter, second chapter, and third chapter. Okay, so this is what I found out. I'm just going to quote unquote the verses. Look on your book of Amos if you already have it, since I said get your book of Amos ready. Look at verse 7, what it says. Okay, verse 7, it says, but I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof. Did you catch it? Palaces. The king, the queen, palaces. Okay. The Bible did say, like in Ecclesiastes, it says how everything has a time. And in the Bible, it also said there will be time he will go and hound the leaders of the world, the kings, the queens. They can't even hide under a couch. Watch this. We're going to go now to verse 15. Verse 15 says, and their king shall go into captivity, and his princes together, saith the Lord. This is not a coincidence. Statue, king, queen. Okay, so that's 1 Amos, verse 7 and 15. Then 2 Amos, verse 15 says, neither shall he stand that handeth the bow, and he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself, neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself. No one's going to escape among the world leaders that are wicked, doing wrong, evil, stealing, killing, you name it. So let's go on. Verse 16, it continues. And he that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith the Lord. That's chapter 2, verse 15 and 16. Let's go to chapter 3, verse 9. Publish in the places of Ashdod, and in the places, no, not places, palaces. Publish in the palaces of Ashdod, and in the palaces in the land of Egypt, and say, assemble yourselves upon the mountains of Samaria, and behold the great tumults in the midst thereof, and the oppressed in the midst thereof.